stories. Good evening and welcome to Mindful Life 223. I am your host Nathan Springer. Thank you for being here. It is the 16th of the 5th month in the year 2023 and we're talking crime in Trinidad and Tobago. Unfortunately, it seems like that's a very regular topic we talk about because crime in Trinidad and Tobago is the thing that is a pressing concern to most people. You see, that crime situation is the kind of thing that makes people worried in the day-to-day living. That's the kind of thing that you could be going about your day doing everything right and some person comes and kills you. That's the kind of thing makes people worried more or less. It makes people worried. Rooney says, let it be known anti-cams looking kind of good for the next election. Might be the guns or the white hook. Wow. Daniel Navarro. Look, the PM say, don't ask me anything. Daniel Navarro, he correct because then he would be accused of meddling in police business. Well, I'll say that's according because we're going to get into some of that extradition news too. And to me, the Prime Minister acting like this is totally a police matter outside of his purview. This has nothing to do with me. I mean, I don't think that's true when we look at the facts at hand. I don't think that's true when we look at the facts at hand. But let's get into some of these stories of the evening and see what we're saying. Licks for Commissioner of Police over excellent assessment claim. UNC wants apology, says crime has TNT in a dark place. The opposition is calling for Police Commissioner Earl Harewood Christopher to apologize to the nation for assessing her performance in the first 100 days on the job as excellent. What she should have said is that this is a work in progress. I am trying my hardest. I will stick to the job. Opposition Senator David Nakid said during a media conference at the office of the opposition in Port of Spain. Now, personally, when I see so many people lixing the lady for this, I'm not sure I would do that. I'm not sure I would lix her for this statement because if you see the clip, she was asked the question kind of in passing as she was walking off. How would you rate? And she was like, excellent, excellent. Like I don't know if I would blame her for it. What I would see is that the police commissioner better recognize really quickly that she's in a political job. This isn't a technocratic job. This is a political job. And they are going to play politics with everything you see. If you say something out of place, if you say something, make sure you have a proper definition and explanation for what you're saying. Now, for me, I put this kind of in the English language, in the English subject back in the school days camp, where I always hated when they asked you in an exam, what do you think? And then they give you it wrong. Listen, if you ask me what I think is what I think. You can't tell me what I think is wrong. That's what I thought. That's the answer. So if you ask the lady how she rates herself, and she rates herself as excellent, you can't be vexed. That's the lady's view. The problem with that, however, is that the image that you get when you hear excellent is that there isn't really room for self-improvement. If you're doing excellent, like if you have to put a percentage, yes, small yellow green, if you have to put a percentage on excellence, out of 100%, excellence would be somewhere high 90s. Like if you have an exam and the exam is out of 100% and you come home and you tell someone you did excellently in the exam. Excellent is 95 and up, somewhere like that. So that means you only have room for 5% improvement. Now, you must understand, Miss Lady Commissioner, if you're telling the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago that you only have room for 5% improvement, while the murder rate is roaring up 600. Home invasions are spiking. And you're telling people that I only have room for 5% improvement. All the children that do SEA and say it was easy then fail. Yeah. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's like you have a child that's in school and test after test after test. Test after test after test. You're seeing the report book coming back and they have a grade C, a D, F occasionally, C plus at best. And I ask them, how would you rate your performance in school this year? And they say, excellent. You know, the evidence kind of doesn't lend to people believing that. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And it's a scary thing. I remember I was saying this about the previous commissioner when he said that the police are trying their best. That's a scary statement to make. Trinidadians want results but don't want to snitch on their criminals they know. How that working? Police want results but don't want to snitch on their criminal police friends they know. Listen, Mr. Homeface, every time you say it, I will repeat the statement I say. Like, we could go like that every night when you bring it up. I will say it continually. Yes, Trinidadians don't snitch on their criminal friends, but the police don't snitch on their criminal police too. That's the problem. I could tell you, in my community, that is a bit more of a hotspot. When snitching goes on, the police inform about the snitches. I am not asking this. I am telling this. So, how do you expect people to feel confident in snitching on their criminal neighbors when the police would inform that you snitched and the criminal neighbor, even if he's arrested, would be out on bail by the next week? How do you expect people to live and be a snitch at the same time? Like, you have to be reasonable with your expectation there. Fally over on Instagram says there need to be more accountability. So what do you suggest, bro? That's what I was saying. What we need is that accountability from the police side first. We need a cleanup of the police service. If you want to ask people to give more information to the police service, we need a cleanup of the police service. That's what we need. Desperately. And now, to be fair to the former commissioner that some in the chat say all he did was talk. To be fair to him, at least when he spoke, you could hear that regularly he would admit this. He would regularly admit that a lot of the fight is internal. A lot of the fight that the police have to do in law enforcement, in bringing down crime in Trinidad and Tobago, is internal. Maybe the government should open an external law enforcement service, kind of like the FBI. RL says, Mike says, if you all think the roadblock GC is licks, how to get in the police and goon GC group chat. Oh. The criminals get the disclosures and would be fully aware of who snitched. Yes, they would. This isn't an unknown thing. Like, how do you expect people to snitch in a country that is known for the level of corruption that we are known for? That's not how it works. That's not really how it works. It really is not. And as I regularly say, as a balance to that, it's not just the police, because many people that are charged are out on bail. Their cases aren't even finished yet. They aren't in jail. Their cases aren't solved. So it's not just the police. It goes to the justice system also. So when the complaints are made, I'm not saying this to say that it's hopeless or anything like that. The point I'm making is that the complaints have to be made with some accuracy when we're looking at it at the same time. The ex-commissioner rubbishes top cops gun stats. Not so fast, Erla. Former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith on Sunday slammed Commissioner of Police Erla Harewood Christopher for her claim that 100 legal guns have been used in crimes. Harewood Christopher made the claim in a sworn statement filed in the High Court 2 weeks ago in response to a lawsuit filed by a gun dealer. She raised serious national security concerns and the stability of the country over such imports, the poor accounting records of guns and ammunition imported, the possession of military grade guns and 5.56 and 7.62 ammunition, etc. Harewood Christopher disclosed incomplete statistics between 2016 and 2022, which show the quantity of guns and ammunition imported by gun dealers for non-law enforcement purposes skyrocketed, with an all-time high in 2020 of 57.2 million rounds, almost 44 times the population of Titi. Some 306 permits were approved, allowing gun dealers to bring in 64,553 guns that year. In 2021, the number of import permits went down to 115, allowing dealers to bring in 43,557 guns and 18,899,000 rounds of ammunition. I'm not going to read all of those numbers. In a statement, Griffith, who is now National Transformation Alliance political leader, described Harewood Christopher's claim as disingenuous, deceitful, deceptive. He accused the top cop, who recently received a one-year extension of a contract, of singing for her supper and following the failed narrative of certain politicians about legal firearms and crime. Griffith said, "We challenge Erla to list the crimes because we are sure it would be items such as negligent discharge by officers, where several occur a year, and being involved when FUL users use their legal firearm to fight back when they are victims of crime." $53 million rounds. Yes, Mike, there are lots of bullets. But bear in mind, lots of rounds are used in target practice too. So bear that in mind. But yes, that's a lot of rounds of ammunition. However, nonetheless, all of those rounds of ammunition, the police commissioner said over a 10-year period, 100 crimes were committed. Legal firearms were involved in 100 crimes. Now, if I listen to what the former commissioner said here, it sounds like some smoke and mirror games were being played with these. Yes, Ronnie. Yes. You didn't get that it's a 10-year period. That's what Mr. Griffith also highlighted, that the statistics were accumulated over a period of about 10 years. And also, they're talking about firearms involved in crimes. Negligent discharge. Of course, you can positive radiation. Negligent discharge, according to the former commissioner, may be listed in such. Richard Glubman, you could say that if you want. I am going on what someone who was in the position of former commissioner, of police commissioner, he is saying this. I am not saying this. I don't know. I am saying as a police commissioner said. And I'm sorry, but I'll take the word of a former police commissioner over the random police defender on TikTok. No offense meant, but I'll take his word over yours. He was saying that involved in this could be things like negligent discharge, along with usage in defending yourself. So I would like to see these numbers disaggregated. If you're saying that he's spreading propaganda and nonsense, of course he isn't random. Oh gosh, it was a figure of speech. It was a figure of speech. If you're saying that he's speaking nonsense, the easy way to solve this is come out with those 100 crimes and have them disaggregated. Show us what the 100 crimes are. Where inside of these 100 crimes were the legal guns used? Was it 100 murders? Was it 100 robberies? What were the 100 crimes involved? That's how you prove him wrong. Don't come out and say he has Tabanka for the job and he's spreading propaganda and he's a liar and no, that doesn't work. That sounds like you're trying to gaslight people. Come out and say, okay, we have disaggregated these numbers. We aren't throwing the entire 100 number inside there, because when you throw the entire 100 number inside there, it seems like you're being dishonest. It seems like you're being dishonest. If the majority of those usages are in defensive uses, then you know that when you say the 100 involved in crime, you know that's not the image people would get. You're being dishonest with the numbers. And if that is the case, if it is the case, I don't know, I am not saying it is, but if it is the case that these numbers disaggregated would show that, because the last time I heard these numbers, and I believe it was from the Minister of National Security, I heard these numbers from the Minister of National Security. It was 7 deaths in the last 4 years, and I believe 3 of those deaths were self-inflicted injuries. So 4 murders in 4 years was the last number I heard from the Minister of National Security. So if the case is that out of the 100 crimes involved, there were 4 murders, and the commissioner knows that, I would be very curious to know, why would they attempt to make it look worse than it is? Why? Can any of the people who understand the view of the police more readily in the chat, because we have some people who understand the view of the officers, and do not get me wrong, I really appreciate you all in the chat. I would love if I could have a battalion of 50 police inside the chat every time to answer these questions. I have lots of questions for police officers. But why would she attempt to make it look worse than it is? If something is bad, there's no need to make it look worse than it is. Says appointing that politician was the biggest mistake that was made in the history of the police service. Okay, that sounds very personal. I don't agree, and I'm sure the majority of Trinidad may not agree with that. Interesting that government is focusing on legal firearms instead of the majority of crime. That's the same thing I'm thinking too. That's the same thing I'm thinking too. I would like one of the defenders, Mr. Face, responded by saying it was the worst decision to hire the former commissioner. Okay, that's your opinion. Can you tell me your opinion on why would the commissioner want to make the statistics on legal gun usage will look worse than it is? Why would the police commissioner want to do that? Isn't it the police commissioners that almost always like to boast about serious crime going down, and they're the ones that always try and cook and ratify and gerrymander the numbers to make it look like serious crime is going down? Why would they want to make it look like in this one area, in this one section of society, crime is higher? Rachel Glubman, do you not understand what a hypothetical is? I laid this out for 5 minutes, sir. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. If it is true that, as the National Security Minister said, there were 4 murders in the last 4 years with legal firearms. And only 4 of the 100 crimes involved in legal firearm uses were murders. And the vast majority were self-defense uses. If that is the case, Richard Glubman, which seems very possible, if that is the case, why do you think the police commissioner would be interested in making those numbers look worse than they are? Y'all are whining and wheeling and flexing and twisting and turning. It's a simple question. It's a simple question. Don't try and deflect. You're sounding like the big strong guy on TV6. Why must you deflect like this? Just answer. Why would she do that? Yes, Ronnie, I know you already said why. I was looking for Richard. Because she does not want to give FULs. Thank you very much, Richard Glubman. That's all. That's all. She has no reason to do that, Mr. Face says. Richard, I believe you might not be an officer, but you see Mr. Face? So, when you see me in the road, please don't give me a vex ticket. because for me to bring you the possibility, and your answer is she has no reason to do that. Like, you can't even consider the possibility that the police can be wrong. And here's a group that has that same view. The Police Association says, don't use cops as political football. The Police Social and Welfare Association, in a statement on Monday, complained about police officers being used as a political football, citing a recent unnamed court case and apparent allusion to the controversial extraction of a firearms supplier from Barbados to Trinidad and Tobago by a trio of senior police officers. The association said it stood in solidarity with the men and women of the police service, tasked with maintaining law and order in a society not always appreciative of their efforts. Police never wrong. Of course they aren't. Police could be wrong. No, police are infallible. They're chosen by the Creator himself. What's the old time police statement? Below God is police, or something like that. Yes, infallible people, infallible. So the Police Welfare Association, they're having a problem with how the public is using the officers' names. They're having a problem with that. They don't want the public to be dragging the officers' names through the mud and calling their name up in political football games. They don't want that. Tough. We must navigate this mandate through a vegetation of class, creed, and race, being heavily mindful that it must not inform our decision, saying it had viewed with intent scrutiny the information in the public domain over the case. The TTPSWA said, referring to what is public, we lay scorn on those who have used the names of our officers as a political football to advance their agenda. It added, we, like other stakeholders, guard the image of our members jealously, especially considering that we are the gatekeepers of the justice system. You see, I think if the TTPSWA was very interested in guarding the image of their members, when they find their members in corruption, they will not defend them. I have never heard that police association say one word in criticism of negative police actions. Never. When police were found basically red-handed of attempting to murder an allegedly innocent man and killing their own colleague, that association was offended because the police names were dragged through the public in the media. not because of the murder, not because of trying to frame a man for the murder. No. How dare you call those officers names on the media? You're hurting our feelings. These big men that are allowed to carry guns around the country. These big men. Of course, you can come to the box, Trini Hotep. Of course, you can come to the box. We therefore, the Police Association went on, we therefore warn those who may further seek to undermine the characters of our officers, subject to this matter, that this matter is very much sub judice, and we will, if need, be provoked an appropriate legal response. The police are threatening to sue people if they call up officers' names too much. Do not call up the officers' names too much. The Police Association is threatening to sue people for that. Don't call the name in your mouth. It was interesting to note when the system does not change their mental application to words. Mike says also they want us to ignore the fact that the bullets used recently were from the force. Ronnie says, I don't mind defending police, but they need to do better. Lucky says, yes, that's their rights. Jaron VC says, hear that? Stop mentioning. I don't be calling people names, eh? That's not me. I don't be calling people names. I speak about police in general because I know I don't know anything about any specific officer to be calling any specific officer name. If you're calling officers names, make sure you know something that you could prove in a court of law, because as Lucky says, yes, that is their right. If you call a wrong name and you call a wrong name in the wrong business and they aren't in that business and you call their name, they have a right to sue you for it. The new commissioner of police has a task, and the former commissioner of police needs to take a seat. He too power hungry. Okay, he might be power hungry. I don't know. I don't deny that necessarily. But you must understand that the country is interested in hearing what a former commissioner has to say. Well, if you want the country to ignore the former commissioner, get the crime situation under control. Listen, if there are no murders and no home invasions, nobody would be asking Double G his opinion. Since when what, Richard Gilman? Since when people want to hear his views? Since I'm reading it now. Since it's on the news. Since the newspapers put it there. The newspapers are private companies. They do that for profit. They put what's in the news there because people want to read it and they make money on it. So if they're making money on it, it seems like they know what people want to read by and large. So the association said it did not expect blind loyalty, as no organization was infallible or above law, but noted the support the police enjoy elsewhere in CARICOM. Naparima MP Rodney Charles in a statement on Monday chided international relations expert Professor Andy King for criticizing opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissesso's move to write to Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley on the Thomas matter. So let's head over to that. An international relations expert had some criticisms for the opposition leader and how she dealt with that matter. Unknown user says he's obsessed about getting back that chair total to banker. Mike says, Rooney, so Trini Hotep says, wait, is it me because I haven't gotten to come up yet? I'm not seeing your request. Oh, okay, I see it now. My bad. Just now, I'm gonna raise up that volume there. Yeah.
What I find interesting is that in the public seems to be a very kind of touchy issue, and I'm really coming to the conclusion that the police definitely don't want the citizen armed because corruption are in their ranks, right? that you're about to arm the citizens, give them the right to carry legal firearms, and then boom shot police involved in some sort of crime, and the citizens get to, use the legal firearms upon the police themselves. So, could it be that? Could it be that? Causing this whole FUL business?
I don't, honestly, I don't think it's that. I don't think like the police are thinking that far ahead that they're corrupt, and as an association, as an entire organization, they're closing ranks for protection. I wouldn't doubt that it is protection, because it is more dangerous for the police to move around if the regular citizens are armed. That is a fact. It would be a lot more dangerous for the police to move around. So as I said, I could understand it from that point of view. Yeah, the police could be thinking, we just like it where we're much more protected. But I think personally that's a kind of selfish view on their part, because okay, yes, your job could be marginally more dangerous, but if it indeed allows for more protection from the criminals to the regular citizens, isn't that something worthwhile? It's giving conspiracy theory. I like it. Mike says, and it opens us up to more conflict between citizens and officers. Yeah. RL says the government and current legal system is not capable of handling legalization of firearms. RL, firearms aren't illegal in Trinidad already. What generally most people are referring to is allowing more people to be licensed. So I think we already have the legal framework for it. Captain Django says arming citizens is akin to destroying the dam because the village of Trinidad TNT is on fire. No. Here's what that's equivalent to, Captain Django. That's equivalent to allowing everyone to go and collect their own buckets of water. That's what it's equivalent to. It's not breaking the dam. It's not destroying the dam. I don't see it as that at all. I don't see allowing people to protect themselves with the same weapons that the criminals are attacking them with as destroying the dam. I don't see that. I don't see that at all. If you don't like how an officer treating you, especially in abuse of power situations, bullet passing for sure. You see, I don't believe this, like some people believe that the human considerations would change magically if they have access to firearms. I don't actually believe that. I don't believe that. The majority of people who don't commit crimes, it's not because they can't access a gun. They could go buy a gun. They could go buy a gun illegally. The majority of people that don't commit crimes, they don't go out there and kill random people and hurt their neighbors and all of that. They do it because of their own moral compass, by and large. And bear in mind, if you're a legal firearm holder and you see an officer and you get upset with this officer for something, and bullets pass, you're going to sacrifice your entire life. You are going to go to jail for life. Chances are you might be hung. Really? Would random people do that for being offended by a police officer? Like, I think the kind of person who would shoot an officer if they're offended by them is the same kind of person who would slap an officer if they're offended by them. And how often do you hear anybody just slapping random police? Because that's not a battle you're going to win. You're not going to win that battle. It's not going to be won. Even the biggest bad men, generally, when the police come, they boil down. They might talk, they might ring, they might try and pull their hand away, but they ain't raising their hand, they hitting no police officer. That doesn't happen that often. So I don't believe those considerations will magically change if people have legal access. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah, I hear you very clear.
Good night, everybody. So I was in this conversation with one of my co-workers because she was like, remember a few weeks ago or last 2 weeks or so, the Prime Minister would have said, giving guns to stand your ground thing would be like legalizing murder or something like that. He said, so the papers quoted it.
Yeah.
And as I was saying to one of my coworkers, murder is not all of a sudden becoming legal, because if I have a legal firearm, it doesn't mean I kill somebody and I could just say, well, I use my legal firearm, so get out of jail free card. No, murder is still going to be murder. So if I did something with my legal firearm wrong, I will still go to jail. I would still be tried for whatever I did, because they still have to determine if I use my firearm for the right reason. If I use it, if it wasn't self-defense and I'm wrong. So it's not that people, and as you said, people who don't own guns aren't going to just all of a sudden start killing people because they have a gun. No, they're not like the people who would do that already own guns.
Correct.
So the people who waiting to have guns are just going to be using it.
It's like I understand, but that's not really the point in which I was speaking from. Because as I said, not necessarily how everybody gonna handle a gun. And once it become legal, well, for citizens, regular citizens, you don't know. But everybody could buy a gun, and you don't know how they're going and treat with that, especially around police officers. And you know, police officers like to abuse their power when they're ready. So that's my point now. You don't know exactly how that person newly just got the new gun legal, and the officer batting them up, slapping them something, and they don't like that. They could react, and you don't know how they react, especially with a firearm.
Well, if you're talking about an officer threatening somebody's life, then they're legally liable to react. If you're talking about an officer coming to someone's home illegally and trying to play mad, then you'll find out. There's a statement in the self-defense community, FAFO, FAFO. I'll say the AFO means around and find out. I will not get into the first letter. So that's the kind of sentiment. But I understand what you're saying. That anger in a situation could spur, and I don't doubt that if there are more firearms in the society, situations where people lose control, you could get that more. But in terms of police civilian interactions, sir, I do not believe that at all. I do not believe that people getting legal firearms are going to make them start licking down police. Listen, people have cars. Polices give people bad drive. Polices give people bad tickets. Police sometimes break lights when they don't need to break it to go and buy gyros. And up till now, you don't see people taking the car and just running into a police motorcycle on the road. And you could do that. Those police bike men that are just on the road there, they're at the mercy of the motorists. Have you ever heard random law-abiding citizens pick up their good self and just run into a police? And no! And police could get... Listen, police get me real vexed.
So you don't think city firearms would put that kind of mentality in their head?
Not the average citizen. Not the average citizen. I don't see it.
But the thing about that is, you, just as much as you have your firearm, you also are mindful that the police and all of their whole force that they're rolling with have firearms, and it's probably bigger than yours.
King Matthew, the lives are, if you want to join the lives, that's over on TikTok, bro. Apologies, but it's over on TikTok. You could join.
Yeah, you're not just going to shoot a police, like you know you're going to let, so you're going and what? Set it off? That's what you're going to do?
I tell you, listen, they call that suicide by cop, you know? If you shoot at the police, the term for that is suicide by cop, bro. You're not going to make it out. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but that would be somebody who kind of looking to go on the way out anyway. Captain Django says, why we in TNT want to mimic the USA. I don't think we want to mimic the USA. Every human being, since humans have been traipsing around on earth, has always had the right of self-defense. That has always been a thing. That has always been a thing. It's in modern times now where we are more trying to pull that back from the citizens because they don't want the citizens to have that. They want to be able to have more control over the citizens. But the right to self-defense isn't an American exclusive thing. That's not American exclusive. It's our, and even understanding how the American law is phrased, they don't have it as they have a right to self-defense by their constitution. Their view is that humans have a right to defend themselves. And Nathan Springer over on TikTok, King Matthew, and human beings have a right to defend themselves, and their Second Amendment is a law prohibiting the government from cutting up the human being's right to defend themselves. So if you think about that and bring that to the Trinidad and Tobago's context, if my belief is that I have a human right to defend myself, I have a right to defend myself, my property, and my family, and our government is telling me, no, we are taking away your ability to defend yourself. No, you do not have that right to defend yourself. I'm sorry. If you're telling me I'm mimicking the United States to say that I don't think the government should forbid people from being able to defend themselves, their property, and their families, well, let me mimic the US in that case.
No, that is just how it is. You know what I'm saying? This, you know what's funny, Nathan, is that people want to pick and choose when we mimic America, right? So we get to have all these ideologies from American media, right? But when it comes to this specific thing, no, we too Americanized. It's like, what really is the problem? Like, hear what I'm saying. If you tell me, right, that in a country where, like, what, 600 murders and home invasion, and you telling me that I must be able to protect my mother, father, little brother, wife, children? It's mad scene. That can never be a thing. That, like, go to America, they will tell you to move from where it is because that is craziness you talking. And I have gotten so much pushback on this stand your ground laws, castle doctrine from Trinidadians, and that is insane to me. The most insane thing that you all could sit down in our country knowing that your crime rate is ridiculous, your government not doing nothing, your police service just complacent and rocking back, and you're talking about why must we get guns? That don't make sense. Come on, man.
I will say, Trini Hotep, I will say the reasoning behind that is you have to understand Trinidad's culture is colonial. And a lot of people in Trinidad are very comfortable and okay with being run as a colony. We don't need the guns and no. We're just here to work for the boss, and the boss go take care of everything. The boss go build the road, the boss go build the house, the boss go pay we insurance, the boss go give we pension, the boss go give we, and the boss go give we. You see, many Trinidadians don't have the mentality that they are an individual sovereign citizen who has control over their own life. No. I am part of a system where I am in part of this colonial system, and I'm here to play my part in the system. While the view of a free state is that each individual is their free self to do as they please. And you can defend yourself in that way. But Trinidad has that colonial mentality. We have it very strong. And that's why you talk about the gimme mentality and stuff. I think that's a remnant of that colonial mentality, where you expect the mother state must take care of the colony. That's how it's been done. Kaliman Co-op, if you want to debate that Second Amendment business, I would suggest there are many debaters within the United States who would argue that with you. I'm not going to argue that with you. Nathan will start a lobby for the legalization of firearms. Well, isn't that what this is that I'm doing right here, Mr. Humface? What is a lobby? Can you define what a lobby is? Isn't a lobby basically just a pressure group? And if you want to form a pressure group to get something done, don't you have to get people to be convinced of it? So I'll say I am doing just that right now. Don't you think so?
You think a lobby is a business? You think a lobby is an organization?
This is just talk, G. So what do you think lobbying is, Mr. Humface? What do you do when you lobby? How do you lobby? Do you push people? is lobbying physical action? Do you cuff people down when you lobby them, or do you talk? Because as far as I know, lobbying of all kind is talk. This is just talk, G. Talk is all the parliament does.
But to the person who's saying to make better laws, and that is not going to change anything, because the lawbreakers are still going to break the laws.
Hello. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Lucky.
Good night.
Right. You see what the person said? Changing of the laws is very important. We have arcane laws in Trinidad and Tobago that needs to be revised. Right? First to begin with. The Prime Minister, right, he's only acting based on advice from persons who are trained and who on the ground and knows what is be taking place, right? So everyone can turn and say, well, hey, he said this and he said that and whatever, right? We still have to change laws first, then we could move forward with other things, right? Every serviceman going through that same problem, right? Most servicemen going through that same problem. Servicemen and women going through that problem with firearms. So even if service personnel is going through that problem to acquire firearms, what do you think for civilians? Think about it. Think about it.
Yes.
And they had more risk. They had more risk.
That is true, Ronnie. Was it about 3 years ago, the Prisons Association was complaining day in, day out about that same issue. They wanted firearms and they weren't getting it.
That is only just prison. There are a lot of people in different services.
Yeah, I was just using them as an example.
Same problem, right? So we can sit down and debate and say whatever. The first thing that needs to change is the laws, right? We have arcane laws, they are revised laws. That's why you see places, the Barbados Prime Minister, right? She talked about all these things. We need to make our own laws and adjust to our culture, because our culture has been evolving. A lot of things have been evolving, right? And we're still using Stone Age arcane laws that it didn't make no sense. Because I myself could tell you, there are certain laws that I read for myself and know personally it cannot stand now. Right?
Yes, I agree.
That's the reason why it is most murder cases, right, can never stand in court, and they will always win, right? Because we don't have the laws that govern to protect people. That's all I have to say.
I understand and I agree. Yeah, Ronnie, you're going after. You are going after just now. But all I would say to that, Lucky, is I agree. I don't disagree with what you're saying about changing the laws. But this is kind of the point I'm making. Some of this new conversation started because the opposition leader raised the idea that when or if her party is elected into governance again, they're going to change those laws. That's their promise. Yeah, Ronnie.
Okay, let me finish. Let me say this, right? Okay, if they change the law to allow people to have guns, citizens, then by right, all service people would have guns easier, right? So you get your wish. Everybody will get guns. But just now, let me say this, right?
Go ahead.
Let me finish talk, and then you can respond to that.
All right.
I can understand why they don't give service people guns, right? Right now, in the present climate that we have, when you have service people taking their guns to go to regular citizens and threaten them, that is why they don't give them the personal gun.
All right. Well, let me explain something, right? First to begin with, right? Do you know you have to go do assessment before you get a firearm?
And what is wrong with that? I don't have no problem. You could give all the rules to stay the same, you know.
No, what I'm telling you, do you know you have to go through an assessment before you get a firearm? You have to go through an assessment before you get a firearm, right? Right? You have to go through an assessment, right? And if you don't fit the criteria for getting that firearm, what do you think will happen? You want to go and buy one illegal? Second to begin with, right? Service personnel, right? Not everybody could say, well, hey, all service personnel is bad or all personnel will be aggressive, right? Right? You have to understand that the media has a big part to play too. That they only sell bad news. Media sell bad news.
That's true.
They sell bad news. Because if something good in the papers, you ain't go buy it. If bad news in the papers, you'll faster buy it. Right? So, they wouldn't give all service person a fire to begin with too. Right? And there's different levels of strategy they will use. They'll teach you how to deal with situation. Right? Hence the reason again, domestic disputes. Domestic disputes. If you look at when people go and make a report on a domestic dispute, what's the process? If anybody inside there knows how it goes.
If it's a man, they laugh at you. If it's a woman, they'll go and make a demand.
That's right. That's the local mindset, right? But if you have been through the process, you will understand how it goes, right? So that is not the truth. That maybe
but I'm telling you, that is how it goes. I'm telling you my experience in police station. I am telling you my experience in the Crown Point police station 5 months ago. That was the experience I had. Right? So don't tell me that that's not happening now. That is still happening.
And what happened? And what happened after? What did he do?
Nothing.
Exactly. You're making an official report. No, you're making an official report and they come and laugh at you. What did you do as nothing? Exactly. So
what are you supposed to do, Lucky? What are you supposed to do in that situation?
Apparently, I'm supposed to go and gun.
You see? Why you reach at that point?
Lucky. Within the law, just now, I want to get the answer. I want the actual answer. Within the law, Lucky, what are you supposed to do? Within the law.
The law? You make a formal report.
But if they're laughing at you when you go.
Report. I won't say it on this platform, right? But all I would just say, there are people who know the process. They could go and they can ask a police officer who working in the station,
Well, Nathan, let me tell you what I had to do for my friend, who is a man who had to deal with these 3 police officers, these 3 male police officers in Crown Point police station that refused to take this report. Right? I had to go to police complaint.
Thank you.
About these guys. And then when I went to police complaint, the person who take my report at police complaints called my grandfather, called my father, and everybody to let them know that I come to police complaints to make a complaint about some officers in Crown Point police station. So I never followed back up on that. Right? Because that person cannot be trusted with anything because you go and calling everybody in the world to let them know that I want to make a report in police station.
But you know the person that you make a report, you know the person who actually spread the rumor, right? You know that person could lose a job because of that. There's a process for everything.
So how do we get them to, okay, Lucky, if she wants them to lose their job, what does she have to do?
I can't say that. I don't know.
So well then what you telling them?
This is what you call a moving of the goalpost.
What you telling Lucky?
It's not about moving of goalpost, right? It's not about moving
But Lucky, you have to understand how this frustrating. Lucky.
Out there are people who actually who could be able to advise you properly because I'm not a lawyer.
No,
I'm not a lawyer.
Lucky.
However,
Lucky, you have to understand.
I have common knowledge like you guys. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have common knowledge like you guys, right? But what I'm saying, there is law for everything. Once we use the right channels, things can happen. That's all I say. Things can happen. There are people who don't go and make reports when things happen to them. They don't make reports. They will sit down under a mango tree and tell the brethren, they tell the friend, they say a thing. Just like how she says, the police, they laugh at him, whatever. Okay, all right. No, they might not have no judgment for laughing at the person, but however, failing to take a report is a serious offense. That's what Gary was trying to do. Gary was trying to implement certain things and enforce certain laws, and that is where the problem is, right?
Well, somebody in the chat tell me Gary never do nothing. Somebody who seemed like an officer.
No, but this is the thing I want people to understand, because, and let me give a personal sort of thing. My best friend is a police officer, right? He know the inner workings of the police service to the point where he's actually have a matter before the court for the police service. Here's what I'm saying, right? This is how it does go. So he literally gave an account of how getting rid of police, making them get fired, basically had to have happened.
That's not true. That is not true. You see that sharpness, okay? That is sharpness. That is not truth.
Oh, okay. Well,
that is not true. That is not truth.
Lucky.
Any servant person under any Ministry of National Security could lose the job with a snap of a finger. Just by saying the wrong thing, listen, by saying the wrong thing could cause to put them in problem.
By saying the wrong thing?
Lucky, I don't know, boy. Lucky, I don't know. I don't believe that. Lucky, just now, I see Ronnie talk a personal thing, Hotep talk a I know personally an officer abusing his wife complaining to the station he works in as senior officers. The man gets suspended maximum probably 2 weeks. He's still in the service. And he's an abuser, known.
Domestic. That's what I told you before. Domestic.
So a domestic issue cannot get you thrown out the service?
That should be the first thing that gets you thrown out. That should get revoked and everything. Because this is the thing, right? My friend literally said, batch before everything. Police before civilians. Literally.
Of course.
Tell me in my gallery that is batch before. Here's what I'm saying. They literally protected a police officer who literally, and I'm telling you all here, murdered his girlfriend. They cover up the weapon, they cover him up, and he's not going anywhere. I am telling you all, this is serious.
I know no evidence of this, FBI that is listening. Me, Nathan Springer, knows no evidence of this activity.
Again, there's the Bureau of Standards, there are the police complaints, right? And there are different agencies out there, right? Again, if that is truth, they will find out.
That's not true.
Lucky, come now, man. You telling me that for real, boy?
Lucky, listen to what I'm saying. My friend literally challenged his superior officer, and his superior officer say, I'm not having that. No disloyalty, no insubordination in my place. That is how it does go. I don't know why you'll think.
Trini Hotep, I know, and I ain't gonna call who the person is to me, but I know of another officer working task force, and he witnessed some wrong things. And he went to the senior officer, complained about it, and the senior officer told him, I see you as a woman. You can't handle this thing. And
people that fabricate all kind of stories and what I mean.
You tell you for real, Lux? Lucky, Lucky, I feel you're trolling me. Lucky, I feel you're trolling me.
At least we get a little smile tonight. We get a little happy times inside here. Don't worry. At least we get a happy times. We get a little laugh.
But face, Mr. Face, this is why I be talking about. That is my problem sometimes with officers. I don't know if you're an officer, Lucky, I'm assuming there. But this is my problem sometimes with officers. Like, the officer could never be wrong. You could show them the officer murder somebody in HD, in 4K 60 FPS, show you the badge number, show you the ID, his mother identify him and show you his birth certificate. And the fellow officers were saying, nah.
Wait. Hold on. That's why I told you the laws needs to be revised.
The laws can't fix that. The laws can't fix that. The laws can't fix that batch thing. We need a law to outlaw batching. To outlaw batch. Outlaw it.
Hear me, right? This is something I know from somebody who tell me something about something happened, something, right? A man burned down a house, right? Burned down a house was seen on camera. You want to tell you? Seen on camera. Going before the court. They have a video footage of the man. I know that simply say it wasn't he. That was it.
Well, on that note, just for a little kicks, just for a little throwback, just now, for a little throwback, somebody allegedly a politician was in a certain hotel room with allegedly some young ladies from allegedly a foreign country, allegedly he took two pulls and he went, and his leader said, she asked him about the video, he said it wasn't him, and that was enough for her. I mean, if it's enough for the leader of our country, I mean, what you gonna do?
It's enough for her. No, but I was just like, to the point that of the laws and the police and all these things, proper policing doesn't need law. It doesn't need a law change. It needs people who are not criminals, basically.
But that's
because when you're saying this,
that same person was speaking about is a lawyer. You remember that?
Is that lawyer? No, we don't need lawyers.
No.
Yes, Lucky.
He's shaking his head. You know he's shaking his head.
Yes.
But the same person who accept is a lawyer, and a very qualified lawyer also.
Well, she granted herself senior counsel, so she was really qualified.
Very qualified senior counsel. Well, no, it's a king's counsel now.
She gave herself silk.
Right, he's a king's counsel now. So let me hear you. So if that person was in that situation, follows for a civilian who in a situation like that, what do you think? We need to revise our laws.
Okay, just now wait. The court does accept video footage, right? Let me be not think about that. The court does accept video footage. Just now, once you can prove that you or somebody directly, the person who videotaped it, can confirm that they would want that videotape it. They would accept it, right? So it's not that they're not taking video footage or they just want to throw out all video footage. They just need to, the source needs to be confirmed, right? So if the person who was videotaping Mr. Tupel would come forward and say, yeah, I was there, I taped it, then different, right?
Yeah, right. But and that and all have implications, because you know why? You know why that have implications? If I video footage you without your authorization, I can get charged. I can get sued for that.
In public?
Not in public.
Oh my word.
In public? Freely. No, in public you can tape freely.
I don't think so.
Only in private spaces.
That was a private situation. That was a private space.
Yes. Oh.
Law is very. Listen, it needs to be revised. There's a lot of things we need to revise. First, to begin with, if you're a courier with the CCJ process,
yes,
that alone speaks big volume. That speaks volume. That's why a lot of people who go and send in a case to the Privy Council waste of time, because every time they send a case to the Privy Council, they send it back. That's why a lot of men who in prison still spending all these years in prison, wasting taxpayers' money and all these things, when we could utilize the CCJ here, right, and make our own judgments, because the same judges that we have in Trinidad and Tobago and in the Caribbean is the ones who just go to England to make the same judgment where they could use right here, utilize the CCJ.
Yeah, but we need the opposition to do that, and our opposition doesn't want the CCJ. They wanted it when they were in governance, but they don't agree with it now. So,
hello, the CCJ is an operation, right?
No, it is in operation, but it isn't our highest court. It isn't our highest court.
It's an operation.
Yes, it is.
But the cases that we're coming with, the case, is the type of cases that are passing through the CCJ.
Mm-hmm.
So the main cases that we should be dealing with here, right?
Yeah, I got you in, sir.
On a crime level.
Thanks very much.
Crime level, right? That would be supposed to be dealing with, right? And as I said before, I put up anything. You asked a question. You were saying about that white is not pushing certain things. It is evident. You see, that's called international financial aid.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. That's all I want to say.
No, lucky. You see, this is the problem. People love to talk about, and it's the same thing you tell me saying, right? Just because the law is faulty, that mean that the police officers must be corrupt.
You can't blame the police alone. I cannot blame the police alone because there's a lot of mango tree lawyers. There are a lot of mango tree lawyers and advisors out there will tell you do this, do that, do the other, and they don't have a clue.
I get what you're saying. But what I'm saying is this, right? We talking, you see, lawyers do interact with the public.
Because they have a course behind it.
No. What I'm saying, Lucky. When I walk out in Princeton, and I pass the police station, the lawyer, he could not come out to say, hey, what is he seeing? Anything going on? No. It's law enforcement.
All right, hear the catch right?
Just know, Lucky. Here's what I'm saying is this. We can't want to say that the laws have to change, right? So the police will say we want the laws to change, but right now we will continue to do bad policing, horrible policing because the laws had to change. That don't make any sense. The police, so what the police is, as Nathan will say, is the police just what? Guards or something. They just carrying down laws from corrupt government.
Okay, let me show you something, right? In your house, right? In your house. You have children, right? You have children in your house. You run in your house. You have a wife. You have children, right? As a man in the house, you're supposed to say, well, listen, I would like this, that, the other. That is your laws. If you look at our country, right, the police has your children, right? They're governed by the same laws.
Yeah.
Right? No, I'm telling you, you're laughing.
Yes, that's true. Yes,
yes, they are.
When you hear lawyers, right? When they hear lawyers, the first thing you think about, okay, they know everything. A lawyer knows everything. No, brother. A lawyer work is like a hustler work right now. Like a man on the street. And lawyers is kicking up like, it's a very hard job. It's a hustler job. I would call it a hustler job. Because when they become a lawyer, you start to go out there. If you don't go in the public service, right, in the public domain, or the private domain, is a hustler out there. Because you have to look for clients. And even if you look for clients, trust me, you can lose your client to your best friend, who's a lawyer also. Right? So don't get tired. They have no part to say. You see the executives and them?
Here's the thing. Here's my problem, right? Lucky just now. Let me see if I can get this point across. My problem with the we have to change the law issues. I don't think the law changes human nature. The law doesn't change human nature. If we have too many corrupt people inside of the police service, the laws could be the Bible itself. The laws could be scribed by God himself incarnate, and he wrote the laws. If you have corrupt people enforcing it, it's not going to matter.
Let me tell you something. Everybody have a price tag, yeah? You know that, right?
Yes.
That is the honest truth. Everybody have a price tag. What might be important to you may not be important to our next person.
That's true.
What might be of value to you may not be of value to our next person. Right? So in life, no matter where you go, you will always have that situation and problem. Right? You will always have a bad apple in every tree. A bad fruit in every tree.
So if you don't put the right things in place, you will always have that problem, right? And the laws, you understand, consequences, proper consequences, revised laws, it can make changes.
Lucky,
it can.
I'm going to address what Captain Django is saying there, but here's something I'd want you want a question I have for you. Suggest to me a legal change that could really help Trinidad and Tobago, and we'll discuss that. Captain Django, the one he suggested is a law against Trinidad music. Here's my theory. I am watching people asking for the banning of Trinidad music. I believe if anyone bans Trinidad music, that will send the popularity of that music through the roof.
Correct.
Children, teenagers love the forbidden. Listen, they tried to ban the demon rock and the devil rock in the 60s, and it sent it to the moon. Banning that isn't going to work. But what's a law you think could change that would really help this?
Right now, Jamaica had that same problem. That's the reason why, if you realize the music in Jamaica has changed from the violence to a more dancehall kind of love music vibes. If you check back the history, you're going to realize that. That's all you need to do. Just change the laws, add laws that, hey, we don't want this in our music. This is what it is. I mean, it's curbing it. Yes, some other countries will accept it because of different language barriers, aren't they? Right? But however, you understand, we need to implement laws that, hey.
Like what? Give me one. What's a law that we can implement that would do that?
I can't say off my head right now.
Okay, I would like to say about the music thing, right? For one, you can't ban music because
yes, you can.
Just now, let me finish what I'm saying. It's basically art, right? Music is art. What you can do is censor it on the radios, which nobody listens to anyway. But you can't tell people they can't post on YouTube. They can always post on YouTube, they can post on TikTok, they can post on Facebook, they can post whatever they want with the cursing and the lewd music and whatever, and people will go and find it. So banning it isn't a real thing. That's
the point I'm making, Rooney. And if they attempt to ban it, because they could ban it on the books. If you ban it on the books, and obviously they're still going to upload it to YouTube, can you imagine the popularity in the young rebellious crowd of banned music? Come on now. You're just going to send the popularity through the roof. Like anyone suggesting that doesn't understand how culture, fad, and style moves in the younger generation. You really don't. Banning Trinidad music is the worst possible thing you could do to it. You want to make a change to that? Flood Trinidad music with artists that sing good things. So if you want to make a change, how about you go sponsor some of the more positive artists? You push them further, you allow their music to have the further reach. That's what you do. Drown out the rest, because you're not going to ban that and stop it. I could promise you that.
You really think that's going to work? It's not going to work either, because at the end of the day, this Trinidad music has reached so international and so big. We just only seen a little trickle in Trinidad. The music is so influential in Jamaica also. This person laughing. Have you been to Jamaica? Have you traveled outside to see what the music is like? Have you read about how the music is very international? Do you know quite all in France? I won't call a name, but quite in France, these artists are going.
Yes. But Lucky, the truth is, Caribbean music has always been popular outside, you know. Sizzler, Capleton, and those guys touring Europe and Japan and things since the 90s.
Yes, I'm trying to say. Not only just that, I'm trying to tell you the music that's coming out now. How far it is. Imagine, I spoke to someone in Jamaica recently, and he told me, he said, dude, their music playing so much across here, more than the average Jamaican who started off those kind of music.
I don't doubt that. And again, Lucky, you're kind of highlighting the point I was making, that you cannot ban the music. Banning it won't work.
Trinidad.
How? Explain to me how you're doing that, Lucky. Explain to me. I don't understand how you do that.
Listen, I am not a lawyer.
No, not like realistically. You don't have to write the law.
I have no problem coming off. But what I would say, I am not a lawyer, right? I am not. I just choose not to say certain things. Right? So I'll just leave it as that. I'll keep it politically. I just give it political answers.
I understood. I can't vex with you for that. I can't vex with you for that. But
what do you mean, Rowley? He's the father, he's the father of the nation. So yeah. Political answers.
I have a daddy already, and Rowley's not my daddy, eh? But
No, but just something that Ariel was saying in the chat, which is so true. Everywhere listening to different music, and places have real violent music, yet here's the only place that pulls on the violent music to say that is why our crime rate is getting high.
we aren't the only place. They do that in Chicago, in New York, in the London drill rap scenes. The drill rap of Chicago, New York, Toronto, London, the drill scene is closely linked to gang warfare, and they talk about that there. In Chicago, they've been arresting and breaking up gang rings from the lyrics in the song because them boys stupid over there. Them snitch, them like Bobby Schmurda. You know that one?
Yep.
Got a body about a week ago. He literally self-snitched on himself about a murder they did in that song. The song lyrics, in the court case, they have quotations from what was it? Hot. I forget the name of the song. They actually have quotations inside of the court case. My boy make a jail for that. So yes, they're using the music over there too.
He's not the only artist.
No, he's not the only one.
He's not the only artist again, right? There are popular artists that we hear sing music and they talk about the crimes that they do internationally, right? And especially in New York. People make a comparison with we and New York, and New York crime rate is very high. And very soon it is going to go higher.
That's true.
My words, it's going to go higher because what people thinking and feeling is a whole honky-dory. Trust, it is not no honky-dory. It is coming. It is coming.
What are the gun laws like in New York? I would suspect that it's very, very strict.
Very restrictive. Probably harder than Trinidad.
Oh yeah, I think they are.
In New York, yes.
So yes.
New York gun laws is different to Miami. Different from Miami. Different from Miami, different from Texas.
Well, Miami is Florida. That's Florida.
States, right? When you look at different states, you could always tell which states have open carrying and, like states are very restricted in their thing. Their crime rate is always way higher. Because why?
Oh God, it's a simple look at. It's really a simple look at red and blue states. It's really that, right?
The quote says, an armed society is a polite society.
The murder rates and stuff. It's easy for somebody to come and kill me because they know in here I don't have a gun, so they break my door open and they don't even have to worry. They don't even have to have more than one bullet in the gun. They could just come in here on the last bullet and be like, yeah, we're going and take whatever you have in this house because they know I have nothing, even if I have a cutlass, a knife, or a gunfight. So that's the point people trying to make. To defend yourself is more important, I think, than changing the law and corrupt police and whatever. If I don't have to depend on a corrupt police to protect me, then I would have less issue with the police.
You know something?
So much of a corrupt.
If people report the situation, the first thing they will say is, them corrupt. This one corrupt.
Report to whom? Let me give you a lovely example. Let me give you a lovely example. This man in La Hoqueta found guns in his backyard. Went to the police about the guns that he found in his backyard. And that man is dead today. So he was supposed to tell about the guns in his backyard. I don't know, that was very exact.
But do you know Do you know there are different avenues?
There are different ones.
Avenues to take.
They're going to the police.
Do you know there's different avenues to take? Do you know there's different
Nathan said it Nathan literally said laying like snitching could get you destroyed in Toronto.
Good. Listen.
No, but if I find guns in my backyard, lucky just now, if I find a gun in my backyard, if I do not report that to the police and them come in my yard and find that gun, is I will get jailed. So that's what I'm saying.
They have to prove it's yours. They have to prove it's
until they can prove they will say it's mine and
I think I go into jail though, Lucky, but prove is mine. If they find a gun in my yard, them carrying me down.
I think I hear about situations like that happen already. I think I heard of situations happen like that already, but the people didn't get charged or anything like that. But that's
how they live out. Lucky, if that happen, that person live in Valsane or Goodwood or Lange Park. That is the kind of people you could find guns in the yard and they say it's not them own. I always remind me the guy who bring in the container full of chicken. There's a container full of chicken and they find weed. He said the chicken is mine. I don't know who own the weed is. They give him the chicken, he go on his way and well the weed gone.
Yeah, but them things.
No, but just now wait. Let me again. Personal experiences. I live real plenty, by the way. There was this lady whose son apparently decided to become a criminal, and the police came into the house and found guns in the house. Well, one gun actually, just one, and everybody in the house got locked up, right? But because the boy refused to say that it was his own, everybody in the house got charged. That woman is or was like almost the PS of a ministry. And now she's losing her pension for her son. Because, and they can't, it's one gun. They can say, no, it's your gun. But because he refused to accept it, everybody in the house is going to be charged now for that one gun. So it's not a matter of proving or disproving. It's a matter of...
But that doesn't take away the fact that she will lose her pension. She will not lose her pension. You're innocent until
she will. She's going to be charged. She's going to be charged.
I think you would have to be convicted.
Proven. Thank you very much. You have to be convicted. Conviction doesn't mean that. You know what's a conviction? People just get tired for this too. People just feel that a conviction is just being charged. No, a conviction is when you're actually being sentenced.
Yeah, but I understand that, but in reality, just being arrested, even if you're not charged, just being arrested is already an extremely stressful day. Being charged just adds more to it. That is what I was saying with the gun in your yard business. I don't feel there's a scenario where police find guns in your yard and they don't take you down. I don't see that scenario happening. Unless probably they see the criminal running and throw the gun in your yard.
It's your yard. It's your yard. If you, for instance, if your yard not fenced, right, and they find in your yard, that is different. If your yard is fenced and they find in your yard, then they could come and arrest you and charge you, right? And then again, according to how close in the yard to your house, your premise, where they find gun, they can find a mango tree, which is not yours.
What I notice with most of these things, I'm saying this as we come to a close here. What I notice with most of these things, Lucky, and this is why I say a couple weeks ago when I had some real battles with some of the officers, why I say it's about the choice the officers make. And I'm not saying everything is to be blamed on the officers, but there is a choice on the officers' part, because I've lived through some situations like that, and what I recognize is probably 90% of it is up to the officer. The officer would come climb on your wall, look through the block hole, see the drugs in your block hole and say, I know it's not you, I know it's not you, I know it's them fellas there. And it's because the officer knows, and it's up to them. They could...
Situations that happen like that. Is that situations like that happen? I heard of situations like that.
Lucky.
I've heard of situations like that.
Yes, I know of situations like that. I'll say no more. But so that's why I say I know for a fact most of these decisions are on an individual basis with the officers. And that's why I talk so often about what the officers decide to do.
No. You have to understand sometimes the decision is bigger than the officer, right? The decision is bigger than the officer. Investigating officer is bigger than the investigating officer. That's why they have the DDP. You understand? It's a process. Everything is a process.
I agree, but I'm not saying all decisions. I am saying the majority of them. If I'm walking down the road smoking a long piece of weed and the police stop, they could say, put out now boy and go away. Or they could say, come in the back here, clank, clank. There's no DPP making that choice for them.
That is correct. That is correct.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why I put so much focus on the individual decisions made by the police, because yes, there are laws that oversee the whole thing, but the human fingers, the human arms, the human appendages of the laws are the police officers. The laws are robotic. The laws are ink on paper. They are not living. The people that
the laws are not living?
No, they are not.
Oh, you think so? Good try. See.
The laws are living, are supposed to be living in the sense of the parliament keeps updating them. But in the literal sense, laws are ink on paper. They are dead. They are not living. The living emotional connection is the police officer, is the judicial officer, the magistrate, the judge, etc. They are the humans inside of the system. They are the people that you hope could understand the nuances of situations. So when I hear officers tell me that it's not their job to understand the nuances of situations, it's their job to just follow the law, I'm like, I don't believe that, because that's not true. The law is dead. You do interpret the law on a day-to-day basis. That's the important part in it.
Yes, I can't remember the term for it, but yes, they can make a judgment, but there's a certain, all right, like for instance, like larceny, right? Like somebody come and break in your house, right? And it stole some stuff. Like it says it stole something for $10, right? The police station, they will deal with that. Let me say they go over $5,000. That's take a different side. That is CID. That where CID comes in now to investigate you, where it's a different scale of deal. You understand? A different type of in-depth investigation. You know what I'm saying? So, the little mango, the man thief from the tree, the little petty larceny and all them kind of things, yeah, you can get a tap on your finger and say, listen, don't do that again and go away now, boy. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a different categories, different... Damn people don't understand. Have different categories.
I don't deny it. I agree. But all I'm saying is in all of those categories, the police are the very important factor there, because they are the human factor. And for the police to tell me, don't look at me, look at the laws, I am thinking that doesn't make sense to me. The laws are ink on paper. I want the human side.
That's it. And next thing too, people don't understand, everybody will wear police uniform, right? But not everybody's a police. I'm not saying there's criminals or anything like that. Everybody will wear police uniform, but not all of them is police. Yeah.
What?
Some of them just doing a job.
Oh, that's what I mean.
You know what I'm saying? They're just doing a job. Some of them just come in and say, just do a job. Some of them do it with passion.
Yeah.
You understand? So if that police officer used that statement, it basically the person trying to say, listen, I am just doing my job. Yeah, what's going on? It's the law. They say to do this, I am just doing this. So they wouldn't take no the humanistic mindset and say, well, you know what, I will use my personal judgment. No, there are police officers who might say, yeah, what's going on? I will consult with my senior officer or whoever, and then I will advise it accordingly. You know what I'm saying? So they won't rush to just charge it because there's a whole process by itself or anything like that. Yeah, so they won't go through all that. You understand? So, yeah, that's my point.
All right. Well, Daryl, he's not saying that the person would be released. It's just that that's handled by a different department. So yes, it can be investigated if it's under 5,000. It's not that it's ignored. It's just a different department. All right, people.
Correct.
If that's all, no further comments or questions, I think we can call it a night there. It's been nice as usual. Yeah, if someone stole $2,000 from me, is there any law in the place for me to get? Yeah, of course! Of course! Theft is theft, bro.
That again is a real ticklish case. If someone, let me say, I'm going back here. Say if someone stole 2,000 from
Yeah.
is there any law in place to get back my money? Now, let me say something about that now, right? I was in a situation like something like that, right? Really and truly, no. Really and truly, no. That's the funny thing.
It depends on.
You could go to the petty claims court.
You can make a report. However, when they start to investigate it and realize, listen, there's no written contract.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
That's where the problem is start with.
So you have to be able to prove. You have to be able to prove some of those things, but there is a legal way, as you were saying earlier. There is an avenue, but is if you have the proof to go through the avenue successfully.
That is exactly what it is.
I've been in that situation before, and it's not an easy thing to prove. And I understand it, because you don't want it to be that just any random person could take any random person and say, hey, he thief money from me, and you just take the money. No, you have to be able to prove it. But proving money is a...
Some people was talking about Gary. Gary was just a human being like everybody else, right? However, in all these things that these people do in these positions, there's always a reason behind things. And everything they do things for a reason. Because let me put it this way. If Gary used to leave here now and go Bahamas, like say Bahamas high, crime high in Bahamas, right? And they need a commissioner for Bahamas. Gary could go and apply and get it. And they will grab him because he have a track record. He created his resume.
Yeah.
You understand? That's what he did. He created his resume. So you know what? Let me take him. So you gotta understand what some of these people will be doing. They do things that create a legacy behind the name. Right? And as I say,
don't get yourself in trouble, Lucky. Don't get yourself in trouble. I always tell people with good jobs, don't come and no live for TikTok and get yourself in no serious trouble.
No. I, as I say, political answers is the best way.
I can't blame you, sir. All right, closing statements from Ronnie and Hotep. Oh, that's it there. Yeah, Ronnie.
I wanted to answer the person with the $2,000 thing. Again, if someone steals money, like they come to your house or go into your bag and steal it, you don't need to go to like those courts. It will be handled as a criminal matter. If you lend somebody $2,000 and they're not paying you back, that is when you go to the civil side of it. They may have to go to a lawyer to write them and whatever, which in turn it doesn't make any sense. You would spend more money getting the money back than the money that you actually
still have to prove it. Still have to prove a case.
Always have to prove it.
Have to prove a case.
Well, I mean, obviously there would be you have to ask the person back first. You speak to the person, you message them or whatever, and they would acknowledge if you left the money or not.
The only thing that stands in court on these places is paper trail. Let's call it paper trail. If you don't have no paper trail, you have no case.
But if I am WhatsApping somebody like, hey, remember you didn't tell me you would give me that.
That's paper trail. That is paper trail.
Exactly, you are creating paper trail. So that is what I'm saying. You're not going and just right. You're not going and be like, okay, you're gonna give me back that $2,000 next week, and the person ain't give me it back. The next week come, and then the following week you go by a lawyer and be like, yo, this person borrowed $2,000 from me and they ain't give me back. No, you go and you reach out to the person, you talk to them, you message them. Preferably don't speak on the phone because you can't create paper trail over the phone. You message them like, yo, remember, you say I want to get my back the money, And when the person acknowledges like, yeah, I know I say I want to get you back the money, Then it's go to a lawyer, you have to paper trail.
All right, Rooney, we know that you look like you have some training in this. People have to watch the messages they send to you on WhatsApp. You're looking to keep them for court.
Yes, I do not delete my WhatsApp at all.
All right, people. It's 11:28, closing in on 11:30, and that's all we have for now. It was nice. I hope you guys were educated, informed, or entertained. This was the Mindful Life. I will be here again tomorrow evening at that 9:30 p.m. thereabouts. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so tomorrow. Ria, you not serious right now at this time, Ria. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We'll be talking Tobago tomorrow. If you want to listen to that, if you're interested in that, you have some ideas, some things to take in about Tobago, well, you could join us tomorrow as we talk Tobago. Until then, I will bid you farewell, folks. It was nice. I'm waiting for Ria to type something. If she have to type something, if she doesn't type it by the time I wrap up here, then that is it. This has been the Mindful Life, and as per usual, this was brought to you by Mindful Education, which is the educational institution that I run. We offer learning pods, which are homeschool styled classes. We are getting more students for that and more people interested in homeschooling, just by the way. Those classes are offered from preschool age groups and learning groups straight up to CXC. We currently have some math and English learning pods going on for CXC. We also offer private tuition for most, if not all, CXC and CAPE subjects. Be sure to hit us up, hit me up in the DMs wherever you see me. Our page is Mindful Education, Mindful with 2 L's, over on Instagram or Facebook. Go follow us. Nathan, I want to do social for CXC. That's safe. Let me know. All right, Ria, go in your bed. You can't be coming at 11:30 to ask what's the topic. Listen, you're not serious about life. Alright, people, this has been the Mindful Live. I will see you guys again for the next one tomorrow evening. Until then, laters. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.